Hi guys, I am Viha from SVC. My USN is 1VE22 IS059, and today we're going to talk about inheritance in Java. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is one of the key features of object-oriented programming that allows us to create a new class from an existing class. So inheritance basically means creating new classes based on existing ones. So a class that inherits from another class can reuse the methods and fields in the superclass. In addition, you can add new fields and methods to your current class as well. So what are the uses of inheritance? The first one is code reusability. So the code written in the superclass is common to all subclasses. So the child class can directly use the parent class codes. Next is method overriding. This is achievable only through inheritance. It is one of the ways by which Java achieves runtime polymorphism. Next is abstraction. The construct of abstract, where we do not provide all details, is achieved through inheritance. Abstraction only shows the functionality to the user and not the backend running of the codes. Next are few important terminologies in inheritance. The first one is class. Class is a set of objects which shares common characteristics of behavior and common properties or attributes. This is not a real world entity, it's just a template or prototype from which objects are created. Next is superclass or parent class. The classes whose features are inherited is known as the superclass. Next is subclass or child class. The class that inherits the other class is known as a subclass. The subclass can add its own fields and method in addition to the superclass fields and methods. Next is reusability. Inheritance supports the concept of reusability. So when we want to create a new class, there is already a class that includes some of the code that we want. We can derive a new class from the existing one. So by doing this, we use reusing the fields and methods that are already there in the existing class. So what is the syntax for inheritance? First of all, we use the extends keyword to perform the inheritance in Java. So the extends keyword indicates that you are derived from an existing class. So it also refers to the increased functionality. So we have a small syntax here where we first mention the class from which the subclass is being derived from, or the class name that you're giving to the derived subclass. And then we use the extends keyword and then give the base class name that we already have or of the existing class. And then give the methods and fields. Here's a simple program that will explain inheritance for us. So first we're creating a base class called bicycle, which has two fields, gear and speed. We're also using one constructor for the bicycle class, which is using this keyword to make sure that gear and speed are being superimposed. Next, we're also having three methods in the bicycle class. The first one is apply brake, the second one is speed up, and the third one is toString, which is used to print the info of bicycle. Next is we're creating another derived class from the main or base class bicycle. So this derived class is known as mountain bike. We're using the extends keyword to do the same. This mountain bike also has one more field. In addition to the fields it can acquire from the bicycle class, which is seat height. It also has one constructor that is start height, and it also has one more method that is set height. Now here we can see in the main program from the driver class that we are giving mountain bike equals new mountain bike. So we're creating an object out of the given mountain bike class with three attributes and printing the same. Here's the output for the given program. So in the above program, when an object in mountain bike class is created, a copy of all methods and fields of the superclass acquires memory in this object. That is why by using the object of superclass, we can also access the members of a superclass. So during inheritance, only the object of the superclass is created and not the only the object of the subclass is created and not the superclass. Here's a pictorial representation of what we saw in the above program. So the copy of bicycle methods and fields in mountain bike object are given in smaller box, which are gear, speed, apply brake, speed up, and toString, which were the actual attributes and methods present in the base class or the bike class. The objects that you can see in mountain class are given below, the seat height, set height toString. Next are types of inheritance. So we have different types of inheritance which are supported by Java. The first one is single inheritance, second is multi-level inheritance, third is hierarchical inheritance, fourth is multiple inheritance, and fifth is hybrid inheritance. So what is single inheritance? Here a subclass inherits the features of only one superclass. So in the given image, you can also see the same. So uh, B is inheriting features from the base class A. Next is multi-level inheritance. Here a derived class will be inheriting a base class, as well as the derived class also acts as the base class for other classes. So you can see in the image given in the next slide that A serves as base class for the derived class B, which in turn serves as a base class for derived class C. So here A is the base class, B is the intermediate class, and C is the derived class. But C can have the functions or features from A as well as B. Next is hierarchical inheritance. So here one class serves as the superclass or the base class, and from that more than one subclasses are created. So as you can see in the image, A is the base class and three other derived subclasses have been created, namely B, C, and D. Next is multiple inheritances. In multiple inheritances, one class can have more than one superclass and inherit features from all parent classes. So this is basically the opposite of the hierarchical method, where you have two base classes and one subclass. Here A and B are the two base classes and C is the subclass. Then hybrid inheritance, it is a mixture of two or more of the above types of inheritance. So we can achieve hybrid inheritance in Java only through interfaces. If we want to involve multiple inheritance to implement hybrid inheritance. So this can also be achieved through multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance with classes, hierarchical and single inheritance with classes. Therefore, it is indeed possible to implement hybrid inheritance using classes alone without interfaces. But if you want to implement hybrid inheritance through multiple inheritances, then we need interfaces. So here's the picture for hybrid inheritance. Next is advantages of inheritance. This includes code reusability, as we saw above. It allows us for code reuse and reduces the amount of code that needs to be written, as subclasses can reuse the properties and methods of the superclass. Next is abstraction. So inheritance allows for the creation of abstract classes that define a common interface of a group of related classes. This promotes abstraction and encapsulation, making the code easier to maintain and extend. Next is class hierarchy. Here, inheritance allows for creation of class hierarchy, which can be used to model real-world objects and their relationships. Next is polymorphism. Inheritance also allows polymorphism, which is the ability of an object to take on multiple forms. So subclasses can override the methods of superclass, which allows them to change their behavior in different ways. Next are disadvantages of inheritance. The first one is the complexity. So inheritance can make the code more complex and harder to understand. This is especially true if the inheritance hierarchy is deep or if multiple inheritances are used. Next is tight coupling. So inheritance creates a tight coupling between the superclass and subclass, making it difficult to make changes to the superclass without affecting any of the subclasses. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.